All right, just went live. Let's check this thing. If you guys can see me, then just know I'm just checking all the deals here, making sure all the control. All right, looks like we're live. It's like a celebration. We're live. All right, guys, what's going on? This is Dave Sharpe here, and we are in beautiful, beautiful Florida. And we are literally about to get a rainstorm. So if we have to adjust things, okay, here in the next couple of minutes because it starts a torrential downpour, then that's what we got to do. But I would like to welcome you guys to this broadcast because this is something that I am extremely excited about. Okay, extremely excited about doing, and extremely excited about streaming for you guys here live from a mansion that we're holding an event in Florida, and we are literally in the elements. I'm going to look like probably a weatherman here over the course of the next couple of minutes because as this kind of rain moves in and stuff, it's going to be pretty challenging and interesting to kind of see what happens. So a lot of you guys probably got the email or the Facebook invite or whatever that I made here over the course of the last couple of days, and you're probably wondering because that message and what I'm talking about is so different, right? Than what I've been talking about. That you're interested in, you're hearing, you're wondering what's going on, and of course we're streaming here live from this house right in the middle of an event, and you're wondering what's going on. So what I want to do here over the next about hour or so. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 30 minutes. Maybe it'll be 3 hours for some of you who know me. Sometimes I kind of go on for a little bit, but it's for a good reason. What I want to do is I want to break down something that's completely different, right? That maybe you've never heard before, or at least maybe you've never heard said out of my mouth in the way that I'm going to say it. And the reason why that is because I really believe that you have something really, really special, and I believe that you're worth way more than what you've been sort of valuing yourself at. Okay, and what I want to do on this live cast or this hangout or whatever it is I want to give you some insights into some of the things that I've kind of learned, and also I want you to hear it firsthand from some of these other people who have sort of stepped up to the plate and sort of taken on this new perspective of business. Because after this live stream, this hangout, I keep calling it a live stream, but I guess it's a hangout. We were going to do a live stream, but we ended up just not being able to get the technology right, which is always hilarious. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters, because the only thing that matters is that you get your message out there and you make the impact that you want. And when you make the impact that you want, then you get everything else that you want and need in life. And if you're struggling right now, if you're in crisis mode, if you're having some sort of a situation in your business or in your life that you're not able to get over, there's obvious surface things that you're probably blaming it on, right? That are not actually the real problem. And what I want to talk about here on this hangout is the actual real problems that's going on. See, I want to tell you a story and start out with a little bit of backstory about how I kind of came to some of these conclusions. For a lot of you, that I started out in this sort of industry of internet marketing, or I started out really as a network marketer. And I was somebody who really came from not a whole lot of things or successes in my background. I was somebody who came from really homelessness, hopelessness. I was obviously broke. I was obviously had a lot of things that were challenges in my life. And when I found network marketing, first of all, that was the first thing that really gave me a taste of entrepreneurialism. That was a huge relief for me, because with my tattered and scattered history, I couldn't go to college. I didn't go to college. It's not that I couldn't go to college, but I chose not to, because I was I had other challenges that were going on in my life. I was struggling with drug addiction. I was struggling with depression. I was struggling with all of these other challenges that were a result of me, making some bad decisions in the early part of my life. And I remember when I was, it was 2005, and I was working in a telemarketing company. And a lady came up to me, her name was Katrina, I'll never forget it. And she said, you look like you really are a sharp dude. And of course, nobody had made a comment or a compliment like that to me in a long time. So I was like, oh my gosh, who are you talking to me, right? And she said, we're doing a business presentation. I'd like you to come by. So I was, of course, all over it, right? And I came by, and it was my first network marketing business opportunity presentation. And that was sort of the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. It's 2015 now. That was 10 years ago. So over the course of the last 10 years, of course, I didn't jump right into being successful. It's been this long, hard journey, this struggle, but this amazing adventure. And over the course of these last 10 years, what I've come to this conclusion is that if I would have just started at the very beginning, really harnessing my power and my purpose and my real true message, and really letting all of the garbage and the baggage from my past just to the wayside, and I would have really understood what I wanted to say, which of course back then I didn't, but I also didn't have somebody who was helping me kind of develop that mission and that message. If I would have known that and then been consistent over the course of the last 10 years, I would have been a lot further along. Now, that's the beauty of life, is that we all sort of have this adventure that we're on, and all of our struggles actually are our strengths. But the problem comes in when people stay in this sort of crisis mode for years, right? They stay in this place to where, they continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They continue chasing something outside of themselves at all cost, resisting doing the inside work that really is going to make the biggest significant change inside of your life and your business. And when you really decide, to develop on the inside, and you decide to grow as a person, that's when all the transformation is really going to happen. Because the truth is that regardless of what business you're in, people are not buying your product and service, guys. They're buying you. They're buying your story, your message, your mission. Culture is all about people feeling something. So if you want to create this kind of feeling in people when they're around you that's going to, make them want to follow you and be around you, you have got to harness your power inside, and you've got to get to a place to where you're ready to stop being in crisis mode all the time. The answer to your problem, if you're having some sort of an issue as an entrepreneur, it's not the next new gadget out on Facebook. It's not the next new Twitter trick. It's not the next YouTube, gizmo or gadget or info product. Really, it's a decision, and it's work that you have to do on the inside that's going to take you from being some here today, gone tomorrow, temporary entrepreneur, and turn you into somebody who's legendary. Turn you into somebody who's going to be around in this industry or any industry for a long period of time. And that, guys, is hard work, right? It is hard work, because the easy way out is always to say, you know what? It's something outside of myself that's going to solve all of my problems. And the truth is that it's not. It never is. So my question for you today, as we sort of kind of kick this live stream off, my question for you today is, are you ready to kind of stop going from this sort of crisis mode to crisis mode? Are you really ready to start harnessing your power and your message and develop a mission that you're ready to be consistent with, because you know that you have a story and a message that you want to take out to the world, and you're ready to sort of step into that purpose? I ran into an issue about a year ago. It was actually a little over a year ago, to where I had started a company or co-founded a company back in 2011. And we had an amazing run during the time that I was there. I literally saw lives change in ways that I never thought were possible. We generated over $150 million in sales. We created millionaires all over the world. I had the opportunity and the blessing to be able to harness my message, to be able to step into my purpose and my passion, and to be able to take all of my struggles that I'd ever endured and turn them into my strengths. I had the opportunity to really take my mess, all of the things that I'd ever screwed up, all of the things that I'd ever made mistakes with or about, or bad decisions that I'd made, and turn those into an inspirational, influential message that impacted people all over the world. And that was a beautiful thing for me, because not only did I develop as an entrepreneur, but I also saw people develop all around me. I saw people step into their power from a conversation that I had with them. I saw people come up to me and say something, and in a split second, they made a decision that they were going to really step into their purpose, and they begin to own their story and own their message, right? However, towards the end of that run, something happened with me to where, not only was I getting this kind of gnawing inside of myself, that there was something that I wanted to do to have a deeper impact. I knew that if I could work with people more closely, that I could have more of an impact. But I also knew on the inside that there was something that was within my destiny that I was not fulfilling. And so in knowing that, and some other things that were happening behind the scenes that just didn't feel right to me, I made a decision. But I wasn't yet ready to carry out that decision. Because oftentimes there's a lot of fear around making a impactful decision, a decision that's going to change our lives, a decision that's going to alter the course of our destiny. And oftentimes we have this calling inside of our hearts. And I believe that the biggest tragedy that happens with people is not that they die, but they die without fulfilling that true purpose. So I believe that for you right now, you're sort of sitting there behind your computer, I think most of the time really in a trance, feeling overwhelmed and frustrated because this, internet marketing thing or even being an entrepreneur thing can be very difficult. And oftentimes, even if you are making money, oftentimes it doesn't really feel that fulfilling, because we go from having a job, right, to seeing this kind of, this opportunity to be an entrepreneur. And then when we, especially as internet marketers, or if we want to try to build a business online, we find ourselves trying to be perfect and trying to, compare ourselves to people and looking at people and saying, I want to do what they're doing. And what happens in that process is oftentimes we lose ourselves. So this dream that we had about being an entrepreneur becomes this nightmare that we start living. And we're looking at everybody else saying, God, if I could just have what they have, if I could just do what they're doing. And really, most of the time, the only thing that they're doing is they're owning their true mission, their true message, right? They've made a decision to take all of the things inside of their past, all of the struggles, all of the mistakes, and turn them into a message that inspires people. But that takes some inside work to be able to do that. So at the end of my run in 2014, I got news as well that, I had hepatitis C, which was a blood virus that actually attacked my liver, or it attacks your liver, and I needed to go on rigorous treatment. And that treatment was going to require some dedication, right? I may have to go inside for this hangout. If maybe you can go check the audio and see if it's coming through clearly. Yeah, another computer. Yeah, just check and see if the audio is coming in clear. I'll move it away from the rain a little bit. So I found out that I had to go on this treatment, and this treatment was going to be pretty rigorous. And I knew for me that I was either going to half-ass this and go through this treatment in a way that was not probably going to heal me the way that I needed to heal, or I was going to make a decision to really fully commit to my health and to my family, to my future, and to my legacy. And also on the inside, there was things that were happening inside of me that were that were super interesting. And I had this calling inside of my heart. You know, I had this idea that I wanted to go out and you know, and sort of take this message and this mission and these skill sets that I had and take them into this sort of this environment where I could literally create transformation a lot faster than I ever could through, you know, an information product or anything else online. And so I had no idea what that looked like. I had no idea what that was going to turn out to be. And it was really this huge like leap of faith that I took by stepping out and walking away from my entire identity. I walked away from a huge income. I walked away from, you know, all of these accolades and these acknowledgments, and I stepped out. All of these things that, you know, so many people are looking for, and that I thought I was looking for as well. And when I got all of them, right, I got all of the money, I got all of the accolades, all of the acknowledgement, all of these other things. I looked around at my life and I said, is money everything? And I started to take a look at my mission and my personal message that I had. And I said, how am I going to be able to take this message and this mission and this calling that I'm having out into the world? And the truth is that I don't know what your calling is. I don't know what your message is or your mission is in life, but I know that you have one, right? And as it kind of rains here and it like is thundering and lightning, it's almost like it's like raining the truth. I feel like it's like a sign. I feel like signs are around us all the time. And I feel like signs have been around you all the time too. And I feel like one of the biggest tragedies that happen with us is that we don't pay attention to the little signs inside of our life that tell us, hey, you know what? It is your time. It is your time to step out and do something amazing. It is your time to stop sitting behind the computer thinking that your message is not good enough. It is your time to stop being scared to share who you really are. What you have to say really matters and somebody needs to hear it. So towards the beginning of 2015, when I was starting to feel healthy again, and I realized that, and I got the kind of semi-okay to go back and start working again from all of my doctors, I was really faced with this sort of decision that did I want to go back and sort of do things that, you know, were sort of not really in line with what my true calling was, or did I want to go back, or did I want to move forward and really acknowledge that I had this one chance to follow through and do what I really wanted to do. And on top of that I wanted to do whatever I was going to do in a way that served all areas of my life, that served my health, right? Because health is so important, and so many of us are sacrificing our health in the name of, you know, going out and making money. And we're sitting there, we're letting ourselves get overweight. We're letting ourselves get, you know, to this point to where when we look in the mirror, we don't even like ourselves, right? And I know people are suffering with that right now. People who are smart, people who have a mission, people who have a message, and they're sitting behind their computer hiding because they've let themselves get like this, right? They've let themselves get to this point to where they haven't taken advantage of some of the things out there that we can do for our health to keep ourselves in shape. Because I'm telling you something, my friends, your physiology is everything, right? So I could do something that wouldn't put me in a place where I had to sacrifice my health. I also didn't want to do something that would sacrifice my relationships, because I just got married. A lot of you saw the pictures, and I married the woman of my dreams, the woman who's been with me literally for 7 years, day and night, by my side, back when we were broke. I couldn't afford to pay attention. I literally actually thought back in the day that when you said ends meet, like people were trying to make the ends meet, I thought that you were so poor that you just could only afford the ends of the meat at the grocery store, right? And of course I was corrected by that, and we still joke about that today, but she has stuck by me, and I didn't want to build a business that sacrificed my relationship. You know, I've heard from so many of you guys that, you know, you feel all this pressure and this pain because you're spending so much time trying to build your business, but at the same time, you're sacrificing this time with your kids. You're sacrificing this time with your family. And the truth is that you can actually build a business without doing that. You can build a business without sacrificing your health, your relationships. And finally, I wanted to do something that was not only fulfilling, but it was also lucrative in a way that I could make money by fulfilling my purpose. Because at the end of the day, what I can tell you, whether you believe me or not, is you can make as much money as you want, but if you're not doing something that fulfills you, at the end of the day, you will still be searching for more. And that, my friends, is how addictions are created and manifested. It's how people find themselves wanting more. It's how they find themselves numbing out and looking outside of themselves for solutions that are ultimately inside of ourselves. And we get that fulfillment. We get that from serving people. We get that from making an impact. We don't actually get that. All that feeling of fulfillment that we feel, that actually doesn't come from money, it comes from impact. That's why you see so many people who are rich and miserable. So I didn't want to be rich and miserable. I knew so many people who were rich and miserable, who were getting divorces, who were, having all of these unbelievably screwed up marriages. And the truth of the matter was I did not want to sacrifice my marriage and the relationship with my daughter for my business. I knew that there was a possibility that I was either going to be temporary or I was going to be legendary. And I believe that's true for you too. So I began a mission, a project called Legendary Entrepreneur. And it's really a simple concept, okay? The concept is that there is a process that you have to go through. And I'm going to break down that process on the whiteboard for you here real quick. It's not going to take me long because it's really, really simple, okay? But so many people are trying to go and create success without actually going through a process that actually builds their worth and lets them acknowledge their story and get okay with the things that have happened in their past to be able to go out and actually tell their story, right? So most entrepreneurs, and maybe many of you who are watching this right now, are in crisis mode, okay? You're in crisis mode, whether it's a financial crisis, whether it's some sort of an emotional crisis, a relationship crisis, you're in some sort of a crisis, right? There's too much, there's not enough money at the end of the month. I mean, whatever it is, whether it's a financial crisis, whether it's a health crisis, whether it's a relationship crisis, it's some sort of a crisis, and you have to stabilize. That's the first step, right? So how do you stabilize? Well, that's what we do here at this immersion experience, okay? We help you stabilize in a way to where you can get out of crisis mode. And I've seen transformations this week, and I'm going to let you see some of those here in a second, right? And here, let you hear them from the actual people that went through this process. But when you're able to stabilize, then you can actually move into this phase to where you can begin to actually own your story, right? So many of you want to have the ability to be able to tell your story, right? And let me say this before I even go into that so many of you don't think you have a story when the truth of the matter is that all you're doing is discounting everything you've been through. And the truth is that I've seen so many people who have said that they don't have a story, that they don't have a message, when really the truth of the matter is all they're dealing with is low self-worth. All they're dealing with is a self-esteem issue. And all they're dealing with is something to where they're actually discounting all of the things that have happened in their life. They're so valuable that other people need and want from you. My friend, the world is waiting to hear from you. The question is are you going to have the courage to stand up and take that message out to the world? So once you own your story, you actually become okay with it, right? Working through a process to where you can actually break through some of the challenges, some of the fears that you're having. You can actually begin to tell your story, right? Out of that story, you begin to develop your message, because there is a difference. Your story is something that you tell. It's something that you share with people. It's something that goes in your biography. Your message is the reason why you do what you do. It's what gets people inspired. It's how you take that story and package it into a inspirational, influential snippet or mission that really gets people fired up about what you're doing. And so many of you have this message, but you just haven't had anybody help you take it and package it. You even have this mess, right, of your life. We all have these things that have happened to us, these things that we've gone through and endured in our life. And those are all valuable things that people need to know from you and that inspire you. If you want to sell more products, if you want to, bring more people into your team, if you want to attract better, more abundant people, then you have to learn how to inspire them. An interesting thing about me is that regardless of where I go, I'm always using and telling my story. And I never tell a story without making a point, and I never make a point without telling a story. So the question is that if you're discounting your experience and not giving yourself the opportunity to really own your story and be okay with the things that have happened in your past, right? For me, it was a whole gamut of of trauma, drama, abuse, self-inflicted pain, things that I regretted, guilt, shame, all of these different things that I was experiencing and struggling with from my past, that back in 2008 when I was hunched over a toilet seat as a heroin addict, and I had one hit left, and I had this sort of moment of clarity, this divine intervention that sort of hit me in the middle of this bathroom that said, dude, this is not how you're supposed to live your life. There's more. There's more out there than just this. There's more out there for you than the way that you're living. And I stood up and I looked in the mirror in this bathroom on 16th Street in St. Petersburg, Florida. And the person that I saw, I didn't even recognize. I remembered back being a kid, being like happy and driven and passionate. And I had lost all of that. You don't have to be in a bathroom as a heroin addict to be in that same place. Some of you are in that place right now, sitting behind your computer or trying to make a job in your entrepreneurial journey work. And in the meantime, it's so overwhelming because it's like there's kids there, there's friends there, that, you don't have a social life, or you're behind the computer for 10 or 12 hours and you're spinning your wheels, wasting time, doing things in your business that don't matter, when really if you could just stabilize, right? If you could just go through a process to where you could break through some of these barriers that have been holding you back, to where you could own your story, to where you could tell your story, and begin to develop your message for the world, then you could go out there and make an impact that would blow your mind. I've seen people, including myself, go from, and the funny story is that back when I was just getting started as an entrepreneur, I literally would sit in front of the camera and just do take after take. And the reason why was because I was trying to be like somebody else. Most likely you've been watching some leader, or you've been watching some guru and been trying to model them. But the truth is that while you're doing that, you're completely avoiding and deflecting who you really are. And the world needs and wants to hear from you more, that you probably have somebody who you can be a hero to. I mean, if you have kids, even just the simple fact of you trying to go out there and really step into your purpose and fulfill your destiny. I don't care if you don't think you have a destiny. I don't care if you just right now think that your destiny is make a bunch of money. The truth is that you have one. And it probably includes being abundantly rich. But it also includes you making an impact and you leaving a legacy. And that, my friend, is what I hope to inspire you to do, even if you decide not to join me in this program, right? So some of you are just wondering, I wanted to tell you, because we do have a button under this video, is that application is for you to actually get on the phone with me or one of my actual coaches, okay? And these aren't like salesman coaches. These are actual trainers that I have here at this event who are helping people go through this process that I've developed that will, I guarantee, create results in your life. And you're going to hear that here in just a second. It's really, truly like anything that I've ever seen before, unlike anything that I've ever seen before. And I'm so proud, and guess what? More than anything, I'm so fulfilled. I'm so fulfilled because I'm seeing people literally go exactly like I was back in the day when I was sitting in front of my camera and I was doing take after take after take because I was so scared to be myself, man. I was so scared to screw up. I was so scared to not be perfect. And when I decided to finally let that go, and when I decided to finally be Dave Sharpe, and go out there and really just tell my story the way that it actually happened and let people know, hey, this is who I really am. This is what I'm struggling with. This is where I'm at. I don't have all the success in the world. And the truth is you don't need success to succeed. Everybody starts somewhere. I did. All my friends that have been successful did. And you can too. What you have to do is you have to stabilize and get out of this crisis mode that you're in. Jumping from company to company, from info product to info product, from guru to guru, it's not going to solve the ultimate problem, which is you. And I know that's straight talk. I know that's confrontational, but the truth of the matter is if you want a real mentor, if you want somebody who's really going to coach you, who's fucking been there before and can help you break through, then this is the type of talk that you need to hear, right? So my challenge is for you is, even on this video right now, even though you're not in this experience live with us, is to begin to tell the truth. It's to begin to be honest with yourself. Not only first and foremost that you do have a story, that you do have a message that you want to share with the world, that you do have a purpose that's bigger than what you're fulfilling right now, but also that you need to start being honest with yourself and surround yourself with people who are willing to be honest with you, who can help you get there. So the next part of this process is a value system, okay? Oftentimes we have to revert back to old values, but most of the time we have to develop an entirely new system of values, okay? Because for most of us, a lot of the values that we developed as kids are really not serving us today. Here's some examples. Well, if you're a man, crying makes you weak, okay? If you don't do something, then you're a weak person, okay? I can think of a million. You know what's going on for you. You know that there's something inside of you that is killing you, that's a value that you've created when you were young, and that's following you now inside of your entrepreneurial journey. And it's not the company, okay? It's not the company. It's not the, I just really also think this is really cool. Hopefully you can hear like the thunder and the rain and stuff. I hope that it's not too loud as well. It's not anything outside of yourself, okay? But we develop these values as children, right? And most of the things that you're dealing with right now as an adult are stemmed from your childhood, right? If you think about it, I mean, whether you're very critical on yourself, whether you are afraid to be imperfect, whether you're afraid to really, embrace your authentic self, whether you're afraid to tell your story, whether you're afraid to whatever it is, whatever you're going through, it's something that has resulted from something that happened when you were a kid, man. And the tragedy is that some of us never deal with that stuff our entire lives, and those of us that want to be entrepreneurs or who are entrepreneurs spend years, decades, jumping from thing to thing, wasting time and money on all this different stuff. God knows I'm telling the truth right now. It's raining truth and honesty in this house right now. The truth is that if you would just take the time to stop and create some space for you to grow as the leader that you are really truly born to be, then you would no longer need to jump from thing to thing, because it wouldn't matter what you did, you would crush it and kick ass in a way that blew you and everybody around you away, right? So after we develop and create this new set of values, right, we develop a new way of doing business. And that is so much different than the crisis mode that we've been in for so long, of trying to balance everything. Some of you guys are corporate executives. Some of you guys are working 9 to 5. Some of you guys have careers outside of being an entrepreneur. And it's such a struggle and a crisis to be able to manage and balance all of this stuff. And the truth of the matter is all you need to do is really just let go, look within, and develop, stabilize first, right? Go through this process, develop a new set of values, because something that you're doing is not serving you right now, and learn a new way to do business. And that's exactly what's going on right here. And that's why I'm so proud and happy. I've got a guy who's standing right here who I can tell you that, I've watched grow over the course of the really a short period of time. I mean, I knew this guy before, and I've watched him grow in a way that makes me so proud. I've watched this guy go from, being kind of all over the place, really, and still made money just from taking massive action, right? This guy is just a bull when it comes to taking action. But I've seen him sort of, come on out here, my brother. I've seen him sort of like harness this new power and clarity that he has, that over the course of the last 3 or 4 months, man. And it's really been this beautiful thing to see, dude. You came to the first Legendary Entrepreneur Workshop, man. It was quite an experience, because you were literally, you had all of these ideas and all of these thoughts and kind of these different directions that you wanted to go. And it was like you got this clarity, and now coming out of here, you've made like all of these changes just in this brief period of time. And I wanted to give you the floor to share a little bit about of what that process has been like. Not only what you've done to be able to get to where you're at right now, but also sort of what you've experienced, man, over the course of the last 3 or 4 months, kind of going through this process. And tell everybody a little bit about yourself, dude.
Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot, Dave. I appreciate bringing me on, man. I really do.
Yes.
So my name is Chad Oxted. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. I had a mentor that before this that said something about sloppy success and just going out and taking just wild action. And it's so true, because when you're new, a lot of people don't even go out there and take action, right? But there's a certain point in time that you need to clean it up and really kind of dive deep and kind of rip everything kind of down. Like, I had success, like you said, but when I came to your workshop, you realize that everything I was doing was just all over the place. There was no focus. There was no really clean. You showed me how to clean myself up, really. Like, I was just I had no brand. There was nothing going on in my specific business that was pointing me in one direction, and that I didn't have a message that was congruent all along. And after I came to the first one, I really kind of I cleaned everything up, and it doubled, almost tripled my income in 1 month, just from cleaning it. And like, it really came down to, I didn't have that self-worth inside me. I didn't feel like I was worthy to put my face on the business, right? And we really, we worked on that on the last one, and I had a huge breakthrough that I could put my face on it, and that I was worthy to actually look clean and look good, right? And so I went out and did that, and now this time we went even deeper. It was like, the difference between this event and last event was just like, it's tenfold even more impactful. We went even deeper. It was like, last time we were, digging a shallow, like a little hole in the ground. This time it was just like, we dug up so much crap in my past and threw it over my shoulder. And I think this one's going to be even 1,000 times more impactful, and my business is just going to explode in a whole nother level.
No, that you did, man. I'm proud of you for that, dude. And it's fun to see somebody go and have their income literally just double and just keep growing. Like, I think the goal of this business is not to go from zero to multi-billionaire. I think that's what so many times people try to do. They're playing checkers, and it's really this game of chess, to where it's these slow strategic moves that we make. Not trying to rush it, not trying to go out there and do everything in one day. It's a process, right? And the cool thing is that what I love about this process is that we can do in 3 or 4 days what would normally take somebody really, a year or more to be able to accomplish through like an information course or something like that, dude. So, dude, I'm proud of you, man.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother. So, the next thing I want to bring out is I'm going to bring out Joel here. Here, give him that, dude. So this guy is great, man. Huzzah! I'm actually fairly tall. A lot of people, one of the funniest things that happens to me at events is people will like see me in person and they'll be like, oh, I thought you were a lot shorter.
Yeah,
than you were. So this dude's name is Joel, man, and Joel's and I's experience together. Now, first of all, he was already successful. Right? I'm sounding like Oscar if he's on the. Give a shout out to Oscar, successful. So he was already successful. A lot of these guys were already successful when they came and got started here in this process. I was really impressed with the results when I met you, right? But you had gone through this process of already being successful and experienced sort of this emptiness, right? To where you found yourself sort of sacrificing health sacrificing family, you know, what's happened over the course of the last couple. I think you already wanted to go in that direction and began to go. You weren't going to do something again after that business and that experience that was going to put you in that same situation.
Yeah.
But you wanted to make sure that what you were doing not only was going to not sacrifice your health and your family,
Yeah.
but it was also going to have a major impact. And the shift that I've seen you make, you would be the quintessential shift from going from a temporary to a legendary entrepreneur, because you've really really grasped the whole, this is not a race.
Yeah.
I'm in this for the long term, and this is not just about me getting rich while everybody else suffers. It's about me having impact. I want you to talk about a little bit about that process in your words, how this process here has helped you, and you know, what you can offer the audience.
Yeah, sure. When I came to this, Dave you actually approached me. I'm assuming on a referral.
Yeah.
You know, Dave actually approached me, and somebody had already approached me about coming to this mastermind. I wasn't gonna go. You know, I was enticed by it, but I had my business going on. I had what I had going on, and I just really, you know, I've been through the ringer. I've bought into mentoring programs. I've bought products, and I've bought things that, you know, had mentored in the past that you know, that I really felt was going to kind of get me to that next level. It didn't quite give me the breakthrough I needed. Really just focused on kind of the technical stuff, and I'm like, hey, I need to actually learn stuff, like concepts, and learn how to turn this into something bigger, and how to, like you said, how to go from temporary to legendary. And I think that when we started breaking into that conversation, we drilled in and we started asking the hard questions. The questions is not like, you know, what can we tweak on your capture base to get 5% more option rate or something like that. But you started asking me, hey, you know, what's your mission? What are you looking to change in the world? What's that impact? What do you want to leave behind when you're gone? And the fact that I was not 100% able to answer those questions showed me that this was something that I needed to impact myself first, and start working on myself first, and also so I can impact my family and then my city and my state and my country and my world, and whoever else is out there. So that needs that kind of impact. That I know that there are people out there that want to make a contribution, but they feel kind of stuck into either their job or stuck in their business, or stuck in their marriage, or stuck in something where they're like longing to have that shift, longing to give something back and step into who they are, or even reconnect with who they were. And I think that's really what I'm getting out of this is that reconnection to who I was, and learning new things about myself of who I can become.
Right. Which ultimately makes us more powerful.
Yeah, very much.
You know, I mean, we had a lady come in. We're going to try to get her out here, and she came in. It was all about money. Like just this weekend, Shelly was. Yeah. It's like it's all about money. I just need more money. That's my deal. That was her crisis, was money. And what happened was, you know, what we forget to ask ourselves, especially because most of the time we're by ourselves or surrounding ourselves with people who are not really telling us the truth, which is a problem, right? So she was, you know, dealing with this crisis of money, right? Because that was her big problem. And the truth is that money really gets us something. We're looking for money for a feeling, for a reason. It does something for us. When I have, you know, a bunch of money in the bank, what does it do for you? More security, more happiness, more peace. Yeah,
right. More peace of mind, and also the ability to go do the things that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
But you kind of get stuck sometimes.
Totally.
Where you're just, it's not enough. I need more. I need more. It's never enough.
And the cool thing about Shelly was she went through this process this weekend and really discovered that what she was really looking for was to find her worth. And I don't want to tell her story for her, but it was really to find her worth and to really find that she actually had a story. Because you can never attract, listen to this closely, you can never attract people in that crisis, desperate mentality that, oh my God, I need money. That will show through in your energy. That will show through in everything that you do. So by doing the core work inside and creating and bringing out that leader and that, you know, that that real mission-driven person that you were just talking about that you're stepping into right now in a way that's just beyond impressive, dude, is actually what it takes to be able to be rich, to be wealthy, to create abundance in your life. And I think it's the only way to do it unless you hit the lotto.
Well, as you said, the last event was money follows impact.
Yeah.
And that really hit me. And that really stuck with me. Because I know with me is, yeah, okay, I have the ability to go out and make money, but that doesn't make me happy. It doesn't fulfill me. What's been longing in me is just to make that impact and also have the money with it.
Right.
And when you said money follows impact, it really got me thinking and just kind of meditated on it and thought a lot about it. Like, if I do, I tried it, decided to try it. You saw the videos that I was putting out there. That were, my focus was to impact somebody. Right. Not to sell something,
right.
But to impact somebody.
Right.
And it did. And people started coming to me and asking me, hey, this video you put out really made a difference in my day. But can you train me? Can you coach me? So I was, people started approaching me instead of me having to go out and chase the money all the time.
Right.
So it really made a shift.
And it's also a shift also in the way that you look at people in the market.
Very much so.
They're not just a wallet, right?
Yeah, they're not just a number. They're not just a dollar. They're human. It humanizes them and it humanizes yourself.
Right.
You feel more human.
Right.
You feel more connected. You feel good to get up. You feel happy to be alive, and it's easy to go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, fascinating thing about that is that, number one, money does follow impact. So when you start to get in this impact mission-driven mindset to where you are, you do wake up every day and say, how can I make an impact today? Right? That's your number one thing, not how can I hit my numbers.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is that if you just focus on numbers, those most of the time, those are the people, especially if you're just getting started out, that are never hitting their numbers and are constantly in that financial crisis.
Yeah.
If you're successful, like you were, right, what it does is it takes you from sort of that, it's almost just that unfulfilling state. It creates, and that's when the income that's when you start to hit momentum and critical mass.
Yeah. And it beforehand, it's like, okay, great, I hit a number, awesome. Now tomorrow I have to hit my number again, and it's just this constant stress.
Well, it's burnout.
Yeah.
So if you're
fighting burnout the whole time.
Totally. So that's, I've been there before, and that's why I'm starting this particular project, and hopefully this inspires you to say, hey, if what I'm doing right now is not, if I feel that calling, if I feel that, if I feel that itch inside to want to go out there and make more of a difference, then you do it, because that's the same fight that I fought.
Yeah.
That's the same fight that I fought. So.
Right on, man. It was great coming out to you.
Appreciate you, brother. Yep. So the next guy that I want to bring out is Josh. Come on out. You actually just take that away. I don't. You'd be way over me, dude. Way over me. Josh, this dude is first of all somebody who just absolutely needed to be perfect, right? And this weekend you are perfect in many ways, but you're also you're perfectly imperfect too, just like me. I struggle with that. That's why I joke about it. Josh came to me, and he was also already successful, right? And he also came through with parole, and we went through the same process that Joel described, right? And so at my first workshop, man, Josh sat there quietly, and I was like, "What is up with this dude, man?" I was trying to sort of get a read on him. He was nodding, he was acknowledging.
Lots of digesting information.
Yeah, lots of digesting, and something clicked, man, at the last workshop. And the cool thing is that, I love when somebody comes and they can contribute to this sort of mastermind experience with success, because you were actually up teaching at this event, right? You were actually contributing, and now you're all over the place, getting on stage and all this kind of stuff. But something clicked in you over the course of the last only 2 months. You've gone out, you shared a huge success story today, actually, creating and manifesting massive results, right? You just took massive action. It was a different kind of action, though. It was a more clear and direct action than you had before.
Right.
Why don't you talk about that, man?
He actually said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Before I actually got involved with Dave Sharpe's program here, I wasn't that clear. I had a lot of success. I was taking a lot of action, which is one of the principles that I followed. is just take massive action, regardless of your past, regardless of what you might know about marketing. Just begin by taking massive action. That's something that I did for 3 years, but there was still something missing. I wasn't completely fulfilled with my work. And just going to the first event helped me gain that clarity of what my story is and what my purpose is. And I do have a story that is valid. And I want everybody to know on this hangout that's watching it that you have a valid story, that you have something to offer. And that's something that we realized as we dug down into this particular event. We went around the room and everybody just spoke their story. A lot of people said, I don't know if my story is good enough. When they spoke it, we realized how good the story was. So just throughout the course of listening to other people's breakthroughs, I had my breakthrough and I began on getting more clear. And through that clarity, I have pretty much a decisive business plan that I'm going to go home and I'm going to follow it. But again, it's not about having the right capture pages and having the right funnels and exactly the right traffic. It's really about the power that we have inside and the impact that we leave. And I think that's something that you really unlocked inside of me. I truly do have some type of message and some type of impact and some type of service that I can provide to the world. And now because of that, I'm going home more fulfilled, but I know that through my work, I'm living some type of purpose. So that's really helped me gain clarity.
Let me say this ago, is that this atmosphere, and I contributed to that breakthrough, but this was the dude who actually did the work to get here. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I mean, there was a time in my life to where I would have said, stop it, keep it coming. But the truth is in all my, this opportunity that we all have to serve each other is just this grace that we've gotten. We get this grace to be able to go out, and there's people who are a lot less fortunate. I have a skill and a unique gift, and I like to use it. You do too. My message for you today is that you have a unique gift too. And there's a good possibility is that you're not using your unique gift, okay? When you start to use your unique gift, that's when your life is going to completely transform, right? So I would encourage you to hit the link below and fill out an application and get on the phone with us. You're not going to get on the phone with some salesperson. You're going to get on the phone with an actual trainer who's here at the event or me personally. And we're going to see if you actually qualify and are ready for something like this. The last thing I want to say, man, is that you are if I was to write a Sharpeism book, and it was the clarity breeds confidence, you're that example. Explain what that means to you and how much confidence you've gained from gaining that clarity.
I mean, I can't even put a price or a number on it. I mean, I've gained so much confidence just throughout the path, just the first day of being here. I gained so much confidence because we didn't go wide.
And this was your second time back, which is fairly interesting.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you'll most likely be at the next one as well.
That's right. And what I notice is a lot of mentors, they go wide, they don't go deep. And that's what I love about this process is that we go deep. We find out exactly what it is that you're going through, the vulnerabilities that you have, and how you can really use that to unlock your true power. And through that, and going deep and really questioning, what's going on in here versus here, that's where I got the clarity to really have that transformation. So hopefully that answers your question. So, good job.
Thanks, Steve. The next guy that I'm going to bring up is, and we actually do have females here too. They're just over there hiding, eating. Oh, she's right there. Let's get a female in here. I'm sorry. This is really your debut as this new, impactful, powerful Shelly. This woman has inspired me over the course of the last 2 days. We've really only been personal and in person the last 2 days. We had a conversation, you and I. That's how you came. So she's somebody who I actually got on the phone with, and when we had that conversation, I'm really in those conversations looking to make sure that somebody's ready for this process. Because if you've got a victim stance and you're sort of blaming everything on everybody else, I can work with you if there's a level of if you're teachable, right? That wasn't her case at all. She was just, it was her time to own her journey. You know, she's got this unbelievable life story. And I don't want to tell your story, but you came in really, you know, discounting all of these things that you had survived through. You know, and there's so many women out there who need to hear this, you know, what you have to say. There's so many women who can relate to what you're going through. And at the end of the day, she was the one who I was talking about that was caught up on, okay, Dave, and this was the resistance she gave me on the first day. Okay, I get it, but we need to get some more money, right? We just need some money coming in. And we went a little bit deeper, and I want you to talk about sort of what you've experienced and talk a little bit about what you've discovered about yourself that you already knew that you just weren't sharing.
Well,
Come a little bit closer just because of the rain.
okay, what I didn't know and what they brought out of me was more than wanting money. It was something inside of me, and what was inside of me was that I felt that I was not good enough. And what I learned from this is that I am good enough, and what I have done in my life is worthwhile, and it is impactful, and it's powerful. So, you know, I'm good, and I have Dave to thank for that. And I mean, everybody else, everyone in this intensive has been so awesome and great. I mean, everybody's story is just blown me away, and I'm just so grateful to everyone, Dave in particular, but everyone. I mean, all of us. Everyone has been just fantastic.
It is a village.
It is. It really is.
It's not one person in this process that create. It's not.
No.
You know, it'd be nice for it's like, oh, you know, Dave's gets all the credit, but that's not what this process is about.
No.
This is not even about me. It's actually about you, and it's about what you can not only come and take away from a process like this, but also what you can come and contribute.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
Because so many of us are coming to seminars and events or information products, and we're like, what can I get out of this? What are you going to do for me?
Right,
And it's a mental shift to come to an experience like this and contribute.
Right.
I want you to just share, just real briefly, you know, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, like what we like, a little bit about your story, like what you actually have survived. I want you to give some inspiration to the women who are out there listening right now.
Okay. Well, first of all, I am a single parent, and I have raised 3 boys. They're all grown at this time, thank God. That was not easy. I've been married more than one time, and I've overcome all of that. Now, for you ladies out there, I'm sure, the mothers, I'm sure you can relate to me. That was not an easy job. And I know you know that. I know you know that. So, and to think that I thought that I did not have a story, but I realized that that is something that is amazing in and of itself. I mean, all of my children, all of my boys are healthy, and they are good contributing citizens. None of them are drug addicts. None of them wound up in jail. All of them had secondary education and more, because that was what I chose to do. So I'm just here to tell you that you can make it. If I can do this, you can do this. I mean, anybody can get through many struggles. I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but you can do it. You may not think that you can do it, but trust me when I tell you, you can do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You can.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. You are just you're
Awesome.
you're an inspiration, and I'm just so proud of you. So proud of you. Thank you. And ladies, listen up. You don't have to take it from me. Take it from a woman who came and went through this process and has just like literally transformed in front of everybody's life or eyes just in 2 days, right? Next guy I want to bring out is just one of my favorite guys in the world, man. I've always looked at this guy and noticed him, right? And I really try to notice a lot of people. Back in my events, I've always sort of been like that. And I want you to also speak up a little bit.
For sure.
Would you check the audio to make sure that rain back there is not just...
I'm on it right here.
Hey, another thing, Steve, maybe we could put something like a cushion under that where it's really coming down over there.
And it's down.
Okay, it does. Maybe just put a cushion just because it's kind of distracting me, and I'm like worse than that. What was that movie where it was like squirrel? I'm getting off subject just now already. So all in my events and stuff that I've been a part of in the past, I've done my best to really be present with people and notice people. This was a guy that always stood out to me, and we would always talk at events. You know, at the party or whatever, I would just stop for a second and just say something to you. And so when you reached out to me about this, I was really so excited to have you come, because, you know, I always saw greatness within you, man. You know, and now, even at this point, you have developed your brand.
Right.
You have developed your business. You have started to take this over the course of the last year, when I was sort of out of the picture of sort of the internet and stuff. You had begun to kind of step out on your own and begin to develop your brand, and you're this amazing copywriter and email expert, and you've even ran Facebook ads for me, right? I mean, this guy's actually he's done a lot of marketing for me personally. And so to have you here as somebody going through this process and this program with me, I first off just want to say it's a huge honor to have you here. Second of all, man, you know, you had just one of the most profound breakthroughs this weekend. You know? And it wasn't about all of the bullshit. You know, it wasn't about you coming here and learn. And I'm also a copywriter. I mean, I can learn. You know, you probably swiped a couple of things from me in the past. Dog, you send me a check and that shit. No. So it didn't have anything to do with that. We talked marketing, of course, you know, but the big breakthroughs that I saw with you were things that, you know, I don't even know that you expected, and just want you to share with people, man. This is Darren Hanser, if you don't know him.
Yeah, not at all. So I think over the course of the last few years, I focused so much time and energy on skills and the technical side of marketing, and really become, you know, I actually am proud that I became quite good, you know, but there's always that next level. And I thought getting to that next level meant learning more, you know, just doing more, getting bigger clients, getting more, just more, you know, and that want for more is quite literally insatiable. And until there's something that you can contribute of significance to someone that you're helping, any growth is empty, right? And it's fleeting. And I found that where clients that I would work with on a one-on-one coaching basis, I would help, but I always knew there was something that I needed to take them to that next level. There needed to be something bigger. And what we've kind of uncovered this weekend is, you know, there's been a lot in my past that's kind of kept me playing small, right? And you know, in my mind always is that thing my father used to say, you know, keep a low profile. You don't need to stand out. Just kind of be in the background, be a support guy, do that kind of thing. And that's kind of always how I've been, even in my career. I was never the face on the front. I was always the guy in the back. And what I think we uncovered this weekend is that, you know, I need to really step out of that comfort zone. And in order to get to that next level, it's not about getting better. It's just about doing better, right? Doing more
or
for people.
Exactly, or for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I almost wonder if it's more about doing less.
Yeah, and
out
impacting
here
more.
and doing more in here.
100%.
You know, like all your struggles that you were talking about are the same, and maybe they manifested in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you had some things that happened in your family that were different in my family, but it was that same kind of struggle that for years I was unable to be successful as an entrepreneur. When I first started, there was a lot of years of struggle.
Yeah.
There was a lot of years of me trying to be like everybody else. There was a lot of years of me just trying to fit in. Right? I just want, like, it's almost similar. I was trying to fly under the radar. It's just kind of fit in. I hadn't developed my message because I hadn't gone through the process that I talked about a second ago, which was stabilizing out of crisis mode and actually becoming okay with my story, which is.
And it's not about, the funny thing is this whole weekend we spent literally maybe 45 minutes on like 20% marketing in that hour out of the whole weekend. Yeah. And the rest of it is just getting cool with who you are and owning like the past, right? And it's really owning the past so that it can be something that propels you forward, right? So everything that happened in my life and all the experiences that I had, I was using them as protection of if I do move forward, something will happen again. I'll lose everything again. I'll hurt the people around me again, because there was a lot of shame and guilt around a time in my life where I did make a lot of money.
Sure.
So making a lot of money and making an impact is tied to that time in my life. And this weekend we quite literally let that go, and it's an instant shift that happens.
Yeah.
Instant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to watch, man, because there's a lot of people who are lighter, and I'm not talking about in the sense of weight. I'm talking about just in the sense of just,
What are you trying to say, dude?
I had Darren out, Steven and I, who I'll bring Steven out here in a second. I mean, this dude was out like getting it in 7:30 in the morning, working out with us, which I was really happy to see. But just, when you see somebody, their face shift and just something click for them, and then they start talking differently and stuff like that. It's really cool to watch. And so I'm really excited to kind of see what your next chapter for you looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be quite amazing. Yeah, 100%. Legendary, baby.
All right, the next guy, I got to give him a grand entrance. Now, come on, Alan. It's not that crazy. So Wayne really came to me, and he was somebody who talked to one of my trainers, and so I hadn't had an opportunity to meet him before he got here. And stop looking all hard, man. So he came here, and he was sort of a little bit reserved. I would say reserved would be, and I think that has translated over in other areas of your life. I think that's actually a good word to kind of describe what he was like. And so successful though, very well educated, right? Has achieved a lot of things in life, and was, when I asked you the question, I think the biggest thing that was shocking for me was that I was like, are you distributing any content? Are you shooting videos? Are you getting your message? Are you getting any message out there? Right. And you were like, no. And then over the course of these last 2 days, watching you, actually 2.5 days, watching you, kind of this amazing story, and then this confidence, and it literally just kind of come up out of you. And it was almost like, alien, to where it, to where it was like in there, and it's just waiting to get, to burst out of you. And now, with the help of the group, with some guidance from me, you've sort of identified and developed not only this really clear, amazing story, right? And also understand, and I don't want to speak for you, man, but I've just watched you really understand that, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to, be everything to everyone.
Right.
Like there's a market out there that not only needs to hear your inspiration and your message, but also that have gone through and experienced the same things that you have been through. There's a lot of people out there who are successful, educated, they have corporate jobs, and that's not a bad thing. That is an amazing thing. That I couldn't accomplish that. I didn't accomplish that. I think it's time that we shift the conversation in every industry, and especially in network marketing, affiliate marketing, and all this internet stuff, that, having a job or going to school is bad, because it's really not. It's just that you had this dream that you wanted to go out there and be fulfilled and spread this message that you had, but it was just a matter of breaking through and realizing, A, it was good enough, and B, that it was there and you can go tell it. So again, I've said enough for you. I want to get it in your words though, man.
Yeah, when I came here, the main thing I wanted to do was to find out that missing piece that was broken in my marketing. I did put content out there. I did videos. I blogged every day. I went through a lot of the motions, but there was nothing happening. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Nothing was happening with anything that I was putting out there. And I thought that, whatever opportunity I was dealing with at the time wasn't working because there was something wrong with the opportunity. And more I started to look at it and see that it was actually me that was the problem. It wasn't the sponsor, it wasn't the leaders, it wasn't any of that. It was me. And what I've been doing is just posting content out there without a message. I had no message. And I thought I had no message. That's the thing. I figured that if I shared my message, no one would want to hear it. So what I ended up doing was just shutting everything down, and I stopped posting anything out there because I just completely stopped believing in myself. So what happened here is I finally broke through and was able to be my authentic self and realized that what I've been doing all along, going from business to business, you know, guru to guru, all those things, is I had lost my identity. And now I had to face myself. I couldn't stop running from myself and still expect to be an entrepreneur. It wasn't going to work. So when I heard this marketing message, and I'm sure you're on this webinar, hangout, live stream, whatever it is, I'm sure you're on here because you responded to a message that spoke to you. If you know what that one thing is that's holding you back, you know what that one fear is. You're sitting there thinking about it right now as I'm talking, as you're listening to my voice. There are those things that are holding you back, and they have to do with going inside of yourself. It's not learning more stuff, buying another product, filling your hard drive up with a whole bunch of stuff, and learning and learning and learning and learning and never taking the leap. You've got to face yourself, and that's where you're going to connect with people. I shared my story, and the group of people that we're with that have been awesome, like family, completely resonated with it when I thought that nobody would want to hear my message.
What what else do I need to say? Mic drop. Yeah, I have a feeling, and this is all I'm going to say about you, dude, is that we're going to be applying to come to your event pretty soon. Bro.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
Proud of you, dude.
Thanks, man.
So that was powerful. Proud of you, brother. The next guy that I'm going to bring out here was the youngest entrepreneur in this group. Dude from Jersey City. Come on out, my brother. This is Derek and
I'll stay right.
that's okay, but you just own that, man.
I tried a little bit.
This dude right here came, and this is always the fascinating thing for me is I get to see people, and sometimes we forget the sacrifice that people make to come to these events, and we don't acknowledge that. You know, we just expect that people should just come to our stuff and just, you know, and it's such a, you know, there's so much selfishness out there in the marketplace and then on the internet today. In so many different industries, of course, it's all about me. It's all about, you know, getting to my stuff. And when I see a guy like this who's 26,
25,
not even, sorry, you know, trying to move you closer to the grave. I apologize,
I
man.
try to stay as young as possible for long.
So, you know, here's this guy who's 25, no excuses, comes up. We've actually got a stage in this house. We go through this process, and he jumps right up on stage and just like owns the stage, you know. And another guy who reminds me of Josh Elder, because he sat and he's really taken in a lot this weekend. And of course, Josh left. Josh was crushing it, and then left and just exploded, like, you know, doubled his entire business. You know, got so much more clarity, and you really, I said that in there. You resemble that a lot. So I'm going to be holding you accountable, bro. You know, because you know, there is an army of young entrepreneurs out there who need to be led, man. And you're definitely that guy. I want you to share a little bit about your experience this weekend, man.
Well, this weekend has been incredible. I mean, I have grown so much in these last 2 days. I think more than I've grown in my whole life, you can say. Up until 2 years ago, I was just running around the streets, doing gangs, joining gangs, doing drugs, alcohol, all these different types of things. And I fell into the deep depression about 2 years ago. And it took me a little while, but I realized that what I was doing at that time was selfish, and it was hurting everyone around me, my loved ones, my family members, everybody. And at that point, I made the decision to turn everything around and make sure nobody ever felt the way I felt at that moment. And 2 years later, I get an email from Dave, one of my biggest inspirations online. He's been through so much, and he showed me that no matter what, you can get over anything. And I knew this was an opportunity of a lifetime, and I had to jump on it. And I came down here. Luckily, I got approved. I mean, I got accepted down here. I came down here, and I was just taken back by how genuine everyone was and how accepting everyone was, and everybody had everybody's back. And it wasn't so much the marketing, but finding who you are and the message you have to put out there, to send out there to people, to help who you want to help, to do what you want to do deep down in your heart. That's what this is about. It's not only just the marketing. There is marketing, but it's more about finding who you are as the marketer, as the business person, as the entrepreneur. This is truly legendary, and I thank you so much, Dave.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, this is just an example of just no excuses, no bullshit, right? I mean, and I can relate a lot to your past. So I want to tell those of you who have a past, you know, like we have, that it's not the end of the road. And I don't care if you have felonies on your record. I don't care if you, in the past, your name has been, you know, tarnished. You know, life is about second chances. You know, that's what this is about. This is about a bunch of, you know, being legendary doesn't mean being perfect. Being legendary means worthy of being told stories about. And you're a guy with your past, and now moving into this new future, man, is worthy to be told stories about, brother. So I'm proud of you, man. So the next guy that I'm going to bring out is, I don't even know what to say about this dude. Come on out, Max. This was a this dude, man.
What's happening, brother?
Just, you know, he just got here today, and here's what happened. I actually talked to Max, again, another guy who I actually made the personal phone call to, and dude was just on the phone, just passionate. I mean, has a vision, has a dream, and is also at the same time has this offline art business, and is doing everything, right? So my hope for you, just first of all, was that you were going to come and just be able to step back from all of that, so you can maybe take a breath and create some space to create a new kind of strategy, right? Because obviously, like I was talking about, like old values and old systems, sometimes it's almost better to just start over. So the first day comes around, and he's not here, and I'm like, okay, cool. So missed a flight, whatever. Second day comes around, not here. I'm like, I actually asked one of my trainers, I'm like, can you call this guy? And then I went back a couple of times and I said, have you heard from Max? Can you call this guy? Have you heard? Can you email him? Has he emailed in? And I was wondering where the hell he was, right? So he said, okay, don't worry, I'll be there tomorrow. And I'm going, now I believe people when they say something. I believe, because at the end of the day, is all you have is your word.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I believed what he said. Okay, dude said he's going to be here tomorrow. I'm not perfect. In the back of my head, I said, is this dude copying out, man?
And what happened?
I walked in this morning, man. I walked in the room this morning and is sitting in the seat, and I want you to share what happened there, because it was almost like a breakthrough, at least one of them that you needed just getting here. Tell that.
Literally, it was a breakthrough, and then I got to break a board, which was absolutely awesome. You know, and I'm not going to say what we wrote on the board, but literally, I mean, it was just because I missed yesterday, and they were like, well, we're going to start it off with what you missed yesterday. So write down, you know, what your obstacle, and then write down what you want, and then, you know, Dave holds the board. And I just did you guys get that on camera?
I don't know, but you almost broke my nose.
Well,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I know, and I would have felt really bad about that, because I'm like,
it's all good, man. I was there to support you.
Yeah, and you were, and then it was just like, bam, and you're like, you hit that really hard. I was like, well, I really wanted to break that. So, you know what I mean? But just getting here in and of itself, guys, it's like, when you surround yourself, because I don't know about you, I know that most people actually have, most people are surrounded by negativity. You know what I mean? And most people, like in their circles and their family, you know, there's always, and unfortunately, it's not really your fault. A lot of times, it's just the way society trains you. You know, you focus. I was actually listening to a commercial yesterday, and in my car on the radio, it was just like, "Are you addicted to your debt? You talk about nothing but your debt. You talk about nothing but your bills." And I was just like, "Holy crap, man!" It was like a debt reduction thing or whatever. But it was a really targeted, like, great commercial. And you think about it, guys, like, some people are so addicted to their pain and so addicted to their struggle and so addicted to, where they are in life, that they never actually get the chance to like step back and really push forward and see what you can achieve and what you can actually go to and what you can actually accomplish. When you make a set decision and you say, that's it, I'm done with this pain and I'm just going to take the step, take the leap, basically just get out of your uncomfortable comfort zone and just go crazy and make something happen. And, that was something that I had to do. And then I got here and literally we broke the board. And today has just been fantastic. I mean, regardless of, everybody here, I mean, obviously this Sharpe's group, so it's, Sharpe chooses Sharpe people and everybody here. So whatever, but like everybody here has just been amazing. For those of you guys that like weren't involved with this one, I recommend, getting in on the next one, because when you make the decision to actually get around people that are successful, who can teach you, who have actually been realistically where you are right now, and it doesn't matter where you are, because if you've seen everybody here, everybody comes from different walks of life, but everybody, we all have similar stories. So we all have similar struggles. We all have similar backgrounds. But at the same time, what happens when you come to a workshop like this is like everybody has a set mindset of what they want to accomplish. And that's sometimes that's all you need. You just need that one step. You know what I mean? The first step is usually the hardest step, but like once you push through that, it's just the momentum roll just keeps going. It's a snowball effect. So I just want to thank Sharpe for coming here. This is awesome, dude. And, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a dream of mine. Since I've listened to audios and videos, and it's just like, man, I need to meet that dude. And then I get on the phone and I'm just like, he's real. And then you come here and it's like, he's real. Getting him and he's tall, because I don't know if you guys know much about online marketers. Most of them are not. And I was like, he's like my size, and this is awesome. No, seriously, most of them. Anyway, back to you, Ross. Thank you, Dave.
So, I had something else going to say.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I'm a pattern interrupter.
You are, dude. No excuses, though, again. I mean, another example, and I think the cool thing is, man, is that I was just thinking about this when you were talking, because I've seen so many different videos and like testimonial reels and stuff to where people are like, it's just, you got to get around, you got to do this, and it's like, but there's the authenticity is gone. There's not that real environment of acceptance, growth, because if you want to really truly break through, you have to have somebody who's going to be willing to challenge you. Absolutely. And call you out on your shit. Just that is a must. You cannot be around a bunch of liars and create transformation. There is a good possibility. Although your family is amazing, you love them, and they're what you're doing this for if you do have a family or your friends, but they are not going to give you the real, raw, hard truth, nor are your friends, nor are most of the people in your life. So if you want to have a massive transformation, that's the number one thing that's required. The second thing that's required is an atmosphere of empathy, okay? An atmosphere of compassion that, we're all a little messed up.
Yeah.
We've all got our own struggles. I've shared them openly and vulnerably and honestly for years now, but in this room, I continue to do the same thing. Over the entire weekend, I'm getting raw with you, and everybody's getting raw in front of each other, and it's the realest, most authentic, most transparent thing, which gives room for growth, actual real transformation, instead of just, let me try to see if I can get, like some other people said, the capture page tweak so I can go back. That has no value to your life as a whole, right? So thank you for being as committed as you are.
Absolutely.
You're an inspiration to me.
Appreciate you, bro.
So I don't know who else we have except my lead trainer, Steven, here, who I just want to, this guy has been pumping me full. Come,
Mr. Sharpe.
please.
What an honor.
Please. Just, no.
You know what it is though? It's positioning. See, when you stand right there, see the positioning gives me a little bit more leverage. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the positioning.
Cool, dude. So this guy, okay, is somebody who I just is I said this in the room, is almost more than a best friend to me. He's like a brother. He is a brother to me. He has helped me create, me personally, in my health changes that and every time I'm around him, he inspires me to want to be better and eat healthier and just take care of my body. And so, your contribution here this weekend, man, was priceless, dude. But you also were able to sort of sit back and take a look at what was happening in the room, man. And so I wanted you to share a little bit about that. Stephen has got this wild journey just like me in life. This journey of struggle, loss, right? Drug addiction, alcoholism, more loss, more death, more loss, more struggle. And I've watched him grow and become successful, and then find passion projects that he's just disappeared off the face of the earth for 18 months to work on. And I'm so proud of what you're doing in your own life. And it's nice to have somebody come in here as trainers who are successful entrepreneurs in their own right. I value that on top of just being like a brother to me. So I wanted you to share from your perspective of not only working with a lot of the people that were here, but also in what you saw from sort of the back of the room.
Yeah.
Because you had a unique perspective in with the experience that you have. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. First of all, I was in Hawaii and Dave invited me. I wouldn't have left for a tsunami. I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm in the zone. And he called me up and said, hey, I'm doing something next week. Do you want to come and explain just a little bit about it? Immediately, yes. Because I look at you as a leader. And a leader is someone who influences others. And he didn't influence my life just in one way. I mean, it was a major impact since I met him a couple years ago. I was struggling. It was 16 years of drug addiction, countless tragedies, over a decade of self-annihilating poverty. And I was in this feeling I believe most of us have, that I'm not good enough. People don't accept me. People don't love me. People don't care about what I have to say. I haven't been successful in marketing. I haven't been successful in business. Why does anyone want to hear my story? I'm not good enough. And he came up and he said, what's your story? And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to say, well, I was an addict and I overcame it. I didn't want to say that, I used to live in the trenches. I'm here in Hawaii. I didn't know what to say. And he put in this, he installed faith into me and belief that I knew that what I was going through was valuable, and that I could actually turn around and help other people, and I could start making an impact in the world and become a leader myself. And I felt like he kind of discovered me and then led me in a direction where him and my mom are the reason that I quit the drugs and alcohol completely. My mom first started it, and she was just a beacon of light. And then when I saw Dave, I was able to break through something. It destroyed my life. It did. But see, I thought inside that I had to drink, I had to do drugs to be loved. That I had to drink, that I had to do drugs for people to accept me, to have fun in life. But then I saw this guy and I'm like, wait, but he's not drinking. He's not using, and he's having more fun than me. So it's possible. I'm like, it's possible. And then I said, wait, if my mom can do it, and then this guy's doing it, he's having more fun, and he's having, he's had success, and he's leading other people, and he's being passionate about what he wants to do, then maybe I could do that too. And I just started doing that. And I've been doing that ever since. I never look back. I'm not a victim of my story. I'm not a victim of what I went through. I don't make excuses. I don't decide that life is too hard for me. I just keep going and keep moving forward. And ever since I met him, I was on fire with that. And that's what he does to people. That's what he's been doing in this room. We've heard people just say stuff I don't think they've been telling anyone ever. And they felt comfortable just all of a sudden say, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what's killing me inside. And this is why I need to let go right here, right now, so I can actually go out and do what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to be happy. Whether you want to make an impact and inspire other people, or sit back and just get on the raft and be in the lagoon, or take it easy with your family, you want to be happy. And that's what Dave help a dozen people here. Baker's dozen do. I've seen some happy people, and I saw some people deal with some things that I don't think that they would have dealt with in any other arena. And because he just got authentic with who he is. And I love hanging around people that are authentic, that are real people, that do real things that mean something. They're actually doing something that really matters. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Love you. So, thank you so much for kind of spending this time with us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for, listening to what we had to say. And hopefully that moved you, right, to want to take action and do something in your life. Hopefully that inspired you to want to say, hey, you know what? There's something more for me. There's a greater purpose for me. There's a greater mission for me. And that I can take my mess and turn it into a message. And yes, I can learn all of the marketing tricks. Believe you me, with this group that we attract at these experiences, you can get all of the marketing information, the business feedback, how to, deal with so many situations. It would blow your mind. The experience in this room, the experience that I can offer you as far as, copywriting and capture pages and ads and all this kind of stuff. But my friend, there's something much, much bigger. And it's up to you to decide if you're ready to be honest about that. It's up to you to decide whether you're ready to step into your real purpose, connect with your passion, and build a life and a business without limits, okay? There is a button, right, for the brave, for the courageous, for those who know they're ready, and for those who sort of kind of think that they might be ready, right? And we have a process that we take you through to determine if you actually are ready, and it's absolutely free to be able to apply for that process. And if you're approved for that process, then you can go through our program, which ends with one of these intensives, one of these live experiences, okay? I want you to experience that because I want you to know that whatever you're feeling right now, there's more. And if you're in a crisis right now, there's a way out. And that you do have something for the world. And it's just a matter of if you're going to find the courage and the action inside of you to show up and learn how to do that. You have something special inside of you. You have something amazing. You have something that's worthwhile, right? And on top of all of the business tricks and the ways that you can grow as far as a marketer here, because my friend, there's more marketing knowledge in these rooms and these events that we host than any other event that I've ever been to, as far as the access to be able to get one-on-one with somebody or sit down with me or get feedback on your business from one of the trainers or one of the other attendees. I mean, there was more contribution here from the actual attendees. I mean, they were getting up in front of the room and contributing the things that they're really doing behind the scenes of their business, and to be able to interact and ask questions, it's priceless. But what can happen with you on the inside is worth even more, okay? I believe in you. I believe in you so much that I'm willing to do something that with this particular project that is a long-term play. It's not a short-term gimmick. It's not just jumping into the next hot deal. It's not just building another MLM company or jumping into something that's like, hey, come on, a bunch of people, let's just do it real quick. I'm willing to invest in you, right? Because that's what made all the difference in me, was I made a decision to invest in me. I made a decision that I was my best investment. So there is a link below. If you're ready, or you think you might be ready for this type of transformation, to regain your health, regain your relationships, experience relationships in a way that you've never experienced them before, to be more present, to be more vibrant, to be more energetic and motivated and find passion in every single area of your life, to reclaim your health, right? To get back and have people who will actually challenge you, hold you accountable, right? Who will stand in your face and say, that's not okay, that's bullshit. Then this is for you. And if you want to be wealthy, not only financially, but also in every single other area of your life, this is something that I want you to consider. This sort of a transformation process is not for everybody. And as a matter of fact, we're already, there's only a limited amount of spots left for the next couple ones, because we've already had a list of people who have applied for this program. So I'm really holding this for a couple of reasons today, because it took up time of our event. Number one, I wanted to get these legends, these heroes, these inspirations to me who have gone through this process here this weekend, out on camera and introduce them to the world, right? It's almost like a debut in their new selves, right? But I also wanted, because, I'll leave you with this. I was going to do something else in my marketing this week. There was some launch that I was going to promote, and for some reason I didn't do it, right? I was extremely busy this week, just being present and serving people here at this event. And when I'm in an event, I'm in an event. I'm not anywhere else. I'm 100% present with people who are here, right? Because I honor the sacrificing, the investment they made to get here. And I take their growth extremely seriously, right? So I was going to do a launch, and I was going to promote a friend in the industry, not a personal friend, but somebody that I knew, and I did believe in their work. But I had this gnawing inside that said, Dave, stay true to your message. Stay the course, right? Stick with your destiny. Stick with your passion, your purpose. And all of a sudden, I got the idea when I let that go, that need to jump to something else. And I'm being vulnerable here because I want you to know that even I am faced with these same challenges. I'm not just somebody who's saying, hey, come and deal with your shit here, and I'm not dealing with mine. I am, right? Every single day, this is a lifestyle. If you want to be legendary, my friend, it's a decision every single day. And I want to help, I want to let this process be a catalyst for you, right? So I made a decision to not follow that path of getting involved in the launch game. I'm not saying that I'll never do a launch again. I have no idea what the future holds, but just for today, I decided to follow my dream. I decided to follow my destiny. I decided to follow my purpose, and I had the idea to get these people on a live stream and also share this message with you because I believe in you so much, and I believe in what you're doing, that I invite you to apply below for this process. It's your time. It's your time to grow, to step into your purpose, to connect with your passion, and to build a life that doesn't have limits, that doesn't have mental limits, emotional limits, physical limits, spiritual limits, that you can enjoy all of your life and not sacrifice anything. It's your time, my friend. Hit the link below, apply, and one of our coaches will call you. We'll get on the phone. Maybe you'll even get a phone call from me. Okay, I do take calls. I do get on the phone. This is not just about outsourcing this. This is a passion project, and I'm here to invest in you because I want to help you grow. It is time for you to make a decision, get around some honest people, and start telling the truth in your life. There's much more that you have to offer, and the question is, do you have enough courage to do it? This is Dave Sharpe. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.